This is Bikram, and I am here with my final project presentation of data manipulation techniques. So basically, my topic is Canada immigration. So in the immigration, we know that Canada is known as a land of immigrants because million newcomers have settled here and helped to build and defend the way of living in Canada. So we are going to talk about it more. So first of all, to understand what is our objective for this particular presentation, to basically we want to identify the reasons for Canada immigration trends from 1980 to 2013. That what particular countries or regions basically immigrated from different parts of world between 1980 to 2013. Also, we want to identify where there is an unexpected drop or rise in the immigration from a specific part of world, and also we want to project the future immigration in Canada. So just to start with, we need to get some data. For that, we have I have extracted the data from United States, United Nations official website. This is the link, and I want to show you how the data is looking like. Here is the raw form of data, uh, which basically I extracted from the UN website. Now we can see here that first 20 rows are of no use. Also, the data is built in you know columnar way rather than in row way, because we want that data from 1980 to 2013. So that should be in rows, and the count should also be in rows instead that in the columns. Now, just to convert and format the data and clean that data, basically I removed the header row first of all, and then created a kind of VLOOKUP across different uh, columns, and mapped on the basis of countries. For different countries, multiple rows will be generated, and in this way we can get the data in our format. So here is a formatted way of Excel. So we can see here um, that how the counts are being generated in a single column along with the year. Now, here I have created a pivot chart. Basically, we want to know a bit, overview of how the immigration is happening in the country. So, just to get an overview, we have seen that the immigration is basically increasing rapidly from past few years, and from 1980 to 2013, the graph is bit increasing. Yeah, there are exceptional drops somewhere, but overall, if we see the picture, the graph is increasing. Then we want to see that which countries have the maximum number of immigrations to Canada. Then for that, we have a pivot chart here where we have seen that maximum immigrants from 1920 no, sorry 1980 to 2013 is from India, then China, and then UK, basically United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Then rest of the countries like United States of America, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and other parts of world. So here we can see there is a dominance of South Asian countries, and also the UK has biggest contribution in the immigration. So why, what are the factors behind this, and why these particular countries have emerged in basically wanted to settle in Canada? So we will definitely answer those. So for that, we have imported the data into Python to get a better insights. Now I have pulled that particular XLS file into Jupyter notebook, and here I have done the same kind of cleaning that I've done in Excel. So here I have removed the first 20 rows, and uh, and assigned the column assigned the column, that is the first row. Then I have, as I told you earlier, that we have to, kind of transpose the data. For that particular method, we have, for cleaning that and making that in the required format, we have melt function. I have used that function, and we can see here using the head first five rows that we get the same kind of data here as well. Now, from the clean data, we have get a basic information that how many non-null values are there. So we haven't any in our data. There is no null values. Further, now getting a description of the data. Basically, these counts or these mean values are for the kind count column. Now, coming to the next part, uh, getting what we're gonna get is basically that how how different parts. So say some countries are developed and some are developing countries. Then what kind of countries are more interested to immigrate to Canada? Here for that we have dev name kind of column where it is mentioned already. I have created I have grouped it on the basis of year and dev name, and found the sum of the count. Here we have seen that the sum count column is generated, and using that I have only pulled these three columns for df plot named my data frame, new data frame, and I have dropped the duplicates. Now I have created a line chart that is basically both the for developed and developing regions. So if we see in the chart that immigration in Canada from developing nations is much higher, and it is increasing rapidly from past few years. But in developed nations, the immigration is gradually decreasing. On the other hand, if we see that if we want to track from which particular regions the immigration is increasing on from yearly basis, then if we see here that I have created another data frame that is df plot 1, um, and on the basis of area name I have grouped by my columns, my rows, and found the sum of the count. Now if we see here that in this chart, from very beginning the European nations has a bigger impact on the immigration. The proportion of Europe was basically huge, whereas for the other countries it was not enough. So, but as gradually we have seen that the Asian countries and the African countries are increasing, their share or their proportion is increasing in the immigration, whereas the the European share is decreasing gradually. Now this from this proportion or stacked bar graph, we are able to see that the Asian countries or the African countries are more interested or more attracted toward Canada instead of European countries. This basically shows us the overall picture that how the countries are moving towards Canada, and this is one step of ahead of what we are want to achieve. Now I have exported this data to a different XLS file so that we can get the further insights using Tableau. Now in Tableau, our first uh, you know our first dashboard is basically to get a particular a basic insight from across the years from 1980 to 2013, how the numbers are changing and how the regions and how which countries are basically get have the maximum immigrants from to Canada, and which have the lowest, and how it gradually increase. So let me make it dynamic. So as I slide the slider, in at the bottom, you will be able to see that the counts are changing. Even the title is basically showing, you will be able to see the title is also showing that how the counts are changing. So you will be able to see that initially the Great Britain is at the top, and now the counts are gradually decreasing, and India, Philippines, Poland, the rest of the countries are showing greater interest gradually. And yeah, China also enters in the picture now. Now the overall region, more specifically Southern Asia, has a maximum count. Still, we will able to see that Southern Asia is making the dominance, and in the chart as well, in the world map as well, we will be able to see by 2000 the maximum number of um, immigrants are from China, India, and Pakistan, that is Southern Asian countries. And this dominance is now very much clear in aftermath of years like 2000 till 2013. Here is our chart that basically shows. Now, what is the reason that initially European countries were more, were more interested, but now these South Asian countries are more interested? The reason lies in the fact that for such countries, we can see that from the history we have seen that the Employment Equity Act of 1986 opened the door to other minority classes to get similar wages. So even there the racial discrimination was totally reduced in Canada, and uh, Immigrant Selection Act of 1967 has facilitated immigration from Asia, Africa, and other non-traditional sources that historically were restricted to enter Canada. So basically, these acts helped the immigrants from these countries, like from South Asian countries or African countries, to enter Canada and grow and develop. Coming further, here we have seen that even some of the countries have just spiked their immigrants to Canada. So the reasons behind them is like maybe some refugee want to migrate to Canada, or Canada has always been open-hearted to these situations where people want to enter Canada as refugees. So refugee immigration also helped a very change of trend in Canada for immigration. Now we can see here in the graph that how Iraq refugees in 2010 had spiked after the war. And we can see here that how the military from US has like attacked over Iraq, and that is the reason this spike we can see here. Similarly, in Thailand as well, the Burmese refugees basically want shrine, and they get it from Canada in 2003, and we can see the nosedive up towards 547 to from till 2010, that there is a huge hike in the numbers. Then coming to the Hathi earthquake in 2010, even Canada offered immigration or refugee immigration to the person who was suffered from this pandemic in 2010, and we can see the hike here that yes, after 2010 till 2013, there is a huge number of immigrations from Haiti as a refugee. Also from Bosniak War in 1992, we can see that how so many deaths were there, and refugees from those countries get a shrine in Canada. So these are the basic insights. Here is the projection from for the next 5 years, and we can see here the uh, Asian are still dominating in the future as well, even and Europeans are constant. So this is a very good kind of insight and very positive vibe from the projection as well. Yes, these years are already passed, and we have seen these trends very lively. So